يا فؤادي دع سوى الله فوض الأمر لله لياكم ونادي حسبي الله كن فما خاب عنكم دعا الله الله لا إله سواه لا تخالط الظنون ولا عيون ترى الله جل فيه علاه هو أنسي وملاذي أحدمي بحماه حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله حسبنا الله حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله حسبنا الله حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل يا فؤادي دع سوى الله فوض الأمر لله لياكم ونادي حسبي الله كن فما خاب عنكم دعا
brothers and sisters in Islam. Firstly, I want to ask Allah. I want to say sorry that you have to endure this injustice. My heart is heavy knowing that my sisters, brothers and our children of Palestine is suffering in this inhumane way. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Allah promised us that after difficulty comes ease. I pray that your ease comes fast. And I pray that you experience freedom soon. Free Palestine until Palestine is free. Remember, the cannot restore a land protected by
Allah wabarakatuh. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant success to the Palestinian brothers and sisters in Palestine, to grant them success. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease their suffering and to ease their pain, inshallah.
All of you are an inspiration to all of us. Your iman and your faith has really shown us that we have absolutely nothing to complain about in this world at all. And you are an inspiration to increase, for us to increase our iman and our taqwa. And inshallah, Palestine will be free. I was in Palestine in July, and it was honestly one of the best places I've ever been to in my life. The hospitality that we received in Palestine from the people was like something I've never ever experienced. The feeling of being in Masjid al-Aqsa was, again, I can't explain to anyone. We have to be there. And to everyone who hasn't been there, I will definitely say at least once in your life, try to go to Masjid al-Aqsa. It's the third haram in Islam, and it is definitely, without a doubt, one of the most blessed places in the world.
Assalamu Alaikum. To the people of Palestine, my message for you is, there is a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, that the Muslim Ummah is like a human body. So when you're always coupled, the rest of the body feels it. So every Muslim around the world feels your pain, and our hearts lead for you. I would like to give you just something small that my mother has always said to me. Never lose hope in the mercy of Allah. Allah is watching, and Ya Allah, one day Palestine, we all believe you will be free. Yeah.
To the rest of the world, I'd like to say one thing. We need to do what we can to have a ceasefire, inshallah, to save lives where we can. And I think, when we scroll and we see these videos, let's watch for 5 minutes and let's make dua the rest of the time. Because if we are calling on the creation, there's no guarantee of help. But if we call upon our creator, there is a guarantee of help, inshallah. That's what I want to say. Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. I'm Principal Zaida and I'm delighted to be here today to share with you this momentous occasion. Our preschool has embarked on a partnership with Islamic Relief, and we are proud to present our results of our combined efforts in their support to their campaign with Palestine. But before we dive into the results of our campaign, let us take a moment to share with the viewers and our parents why we've actually chosen Islamic Relief. As a school, we believe in giving back to our community and beyond. Islamic Relief is a trusted charitable organization. They've been around for many, many years. They have a global footprint and they have an impeccable track record. We also want to empower our parents to actually make a difference and give back. And then, more importantly, we'd like to instill the spirit of charity or being charitable to our learners. The children are our future anyway. So it's actually my honor to introduce a representative from Islamic Relief to share with us some of the projects they are working on and their impact globally. So please join me in welcoming Abdul Alim Hamza from Islamic Relief. Welcome, Abdul Alim. Welcome to Vivid. Shukran so much for taking the time to come and meet with us today. We are humbled by your presence and really grateful for the opportunity that you've given us to be a part of something really great.
Jazakallah khairan for the opportunity and thank you. I'm really humbled and honored to be here, to be sitting in a precinct like this, where there's children, where there's love, where there's a connection of the future. And for me, it is really a humbling experience. So I think, the honor is all mine, the humility is all mine, and just grateful to be here and looking forward to the conversation with yourself, inshallah. Okay,
shukran so much. So, I'm a mom first before I'm a principal, before we educate us, I'm a mom first. So, as a mom, as someone in the community, there's many questions that our parents has raised with me, friends, family, and we all want to do something. And it's just that we sometimes don't know where to start. So there's a lot of questions that's come through the fold of us embarking on this project or this campaign with you, Islamic Relief. So is it okay if I just ask you a couple of questions from our parents that's actually raised it with me? It's just a few questions.
I think it's important that we ask these questions because, the broader community needs to understand and see the work that Islamic Relief does. But I also think that from a donor perspective, it's important that you have comfort of where your money is going and how to be implemented. So we welcome any question, no matter how easy or difficult they are. And we prefer the difficult questions because it gives us an opportunity to explain our position with regards to the question and give clarity to the community, inshallah.
Okay, great. Okay, so can you enlighten us with the difference between having presence on the ground or being actively involved on the ground in NGO activities and terms? What is the difference?
It's a very good question that you ask, and I want to go to a little bit about our history and our footprint globally. We're working in over 45 countries worldwide. And when we say as Islamic Relief that we are working in those countries, like in South Africa, we don't have a presence, we have a footprint, we are on the ground. So if anything happens in South Africa, our team employed by Islamic Relief and our volunteers are able to respond to the need of the community. So when we say, for example, at Gaza, and people want to know what is your presence there? We've been working in Gaza since 1997. It's 26 years that we've been working there. We have staff that's employed by Islamic Relief. And I have to mention that we've lost one of our staff members during the bombing, and we pray that Allah grants him Jannah. And you know, for us, it is important that when we say this, and there are times when we work with partnerships, and we will say we have a presence. We say we don't do the work. We work via implementing partner to do the work on our behalf. But in 90% or maybe more of the cases, Islamic Relief, when we say we're on the ground, we're doing the work, we are there. And I think for us that counts a tremendous amount, because we are able to ascertain, we have the locals working for us, they understand the language, they understand the traditions, the culture. Instead of taking Abdul Alim here from Cape Town and putting him into Morocco, for example, and I wouldn't understand how to engage, you know, and bringing somebody from outside of South Africa, bringing them here, and they would struggle as well. So for us, it's important that we have that demographic and understand whilst we employ individuals to work for Islamic
I
Relief.
see. Okay. So that makes complete sense. Shukran so much. How has Islamic Relief made a difference specifically in Palestine? I think that's on everybody's lips and tongues. You know, like I said, you know, I'm just this person, a neighbor, a mother, and sometimes you just feel like, oh, what can I do? So a lot of our parents wants to know exactly what is Islamic Relief doing in Palestine at this time. How are we helping our brothers and sisters in Palestine?
I'm going to have to look at my statistics in front of me, but before I get to answer those, respond to statistics, because I know people are driven by numbers as well. And I want to say, because we have been there for 26 years inside of Gaza, we've built schools, we've helped with hospitals, with the staff of the various hospitals, we've put in place water systems to make sure there's clean drinking water for the individuals. So obviously many of those things have been destroyed and have been damaged over the past just over a month now that it's been. And you know, our work continues. Our staff has not sat back and said, oh, there's an escalation, there's a war taking place, we can't do anything. They are placing the service of the community over and above their needs and their families' needs. And I think, you know, for me, when I look at the heroes of the people of Gaza, our staff in Gaza, those are the real heroes. You know, when we say we've provided over 2.2 million medical items, and people say, how did you get that into Gaza? I'll preempt a question that people may have.
Yes.
And because we've been working there for 27 years, we also know the behavior of, you know, the forces around it. So we've been able to stockpile things within warehouses over a period of time. We provided 58,638 food parcels. Again, this is the work on the ground since the 7th of October up to now. We've provided food vouchers of 25,470. And I'm being very specific about the number because I think it's important, because I can say 25,000. But I want to be really specific about it because also the voucher that we've given to individuals has been, there are still stores that's operational in certain of the areas, and the people are still able to purchase. So we engage with those distributors and those storeholders. So we get those vouchers and we give it to the individuals and they can go and purchase their own goods, right? So we raw meals, 385,000, close on to 386,000. It's 3 short of 386,000 to be exact. So we provide hot meals, and you know, if you go onto our Facebook pages and you go onto our website, you'll be able to see on a daily basis, we get updates from our staff. And this is very important, we get it maybe late at night, because that's an opportunity when they have a chance to see all the information. And they'll show me photographs of the work, of the food that's being cooked, you know, psychosocial support for these children. And you know, I'm sitting in a school and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, mashallah, that's so beautiful to be sitting here, because these kids are able to engage, they're able to play. As I walked in here, I noticed how these kids were playing and engaging with the instructor or the teacher that was there. And would we not wish that for the children of Gaza?
Absolutely.
So we provide this psychosocial support, which is much needed. If you see the trauma that they've gone through, not only from the 7th of October, but prior to this. So that's one of the other initiatives that Islamic Relief has embarked upon for the period of time that we've been there. So we've employed specialists to help those individuals who face these things. And I can give, the list goes on of the work that we've done in these areas, you know, and just water, because water is such an important thing. We've managed to get drinkable water to about 16,400 people. You know, something that is desperately required in Gaza right now. And we've been able to get bottled water. So as the aid, inshallah, comes into Gaza, we will make sure that we continue to deliver on the expectation, not only of those donors that's given us the money, but also the expectation of the rights holder, of those who are the, and I would say we are more the benefactors because we are sitting on the side, we are benefiting from the law, how those individuals, but the rights holder on the other side, they will gladly accept this, and I think for me those are the important things that we are busy right now inside of Gaza.
Wow, Abdul, like just listening to what you guys are doing in Palestine gives me chills down my spine. You know, I just it's remarkable the work that you are doing, and I think I'm so grateful to actually to listen and to hear and be and somehow just feel a part of it. So I mean, it's extremely moving the work that you've done, and I'm sure you don't get enough thank yous, and I think from all of us here at Unveiling, we just I'm going to interject with Eva and just say shukran, you know, so much for people like you choosing this industry and doing the work that you do, because you have to have a certain drive and something else has to push you to do this kind of work. So it's just it's amazing. And then
you know, sorry, teacher, I'm going to interject for a second. And I'm reminded of a hadith who says that he who's not grateful to man is not grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I'm also reminded about Sayyidina Umar, where he says that when people give you the accolades, don't take the accolades. Look at those who criticize you, those who laugh, and work on that. So for us, it is our honor and our privilege to be working in this industry to serve humanity at large, but also to implement the amount of those donors that's giving us the money. And they always need to see us as the bridge between the donor and the rights holder. We are that bridge. And today, those who are watching this video, you can decide whether you're going to utilize this bridge of Islamic relief to give to those who are vulnerable and those who are in need. Right now, our talk is about Gaza and Palestine more specifically. So you can decide what you want to do, inshallah.
Absolutely. And just touching on some of the items that you've mentioned in Palestine and Gaza, there's obviously a lot of challenges that you guys face in getting aid to the rights holders, as you've termed our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Can you maybe share some of the challenges that you have faced since the 7th of November in getting aid? Because obviously on the news we're all following what's happening. We're hearing how there's blockages, you can't get any aid to the Palestinians. So what have you guys faced in this time?
I think it's important to note that our team is so solidified in Gaza, and they are resilient. Like many of the people and all of the people of Palestine and Gaza, they are resilient. They have the networks of how to get things. And I think the first thing we need to mention is that the offices has been destroyed. Yes. Our offices have been shelved. Right? So we don't have offices inside of Gaza right now that is workable. The second thing is some of the video footage in this week specifically, they've been handing out food hampers, and about 300 meters away the bombs are dropping around them. But the work is continuing. And I think when you speak about those are the kind of challenges, that the safety of our staff, for us sitting here in South Africa, it's important. But also, when you speak to the people of Gaza and speak to our brothers and sisters in Palestine, and you speak and ask them, how are you? They don't complain, oh, the Israelis is bombing us, there's no clean running water, we don't have enough food, or we don't have electricity. They don't. The first answer that they give you is Alhamdulillah. And we have to, for me, and I want to share something with you. I'm interjecting myself, and I know you've asked me a question, but there's two lessons. There's two lessons that comes out of Gaza and Palestine for me. The one is gratitude, because they show gratitude in whatever the situation is that they find themselves. And when we're sitting here in South Africa in the Western Cape, we're looking around us, what gratitude are we showing? How grateful are we to our Creator for giving us this opportunity? The second thing is they have the sacrifice. They're prepared to sacrifice their lives. They're prepared to sacrifice their homes, their livelihoods, in protection of the greater cause of humanity and of those who are fighting perhaps oppression to a certain degree. And what are we prepared to sacrifice? Absolutely. And those are questions that I ask myself, is sacrifice and gratitude. What am I showing with regard to those two elements? And when you look at those challenges that our brothers and sisters are facing in Gaza, from Islamic perspective, yes, the aid isn't coming in quick enough. We know that that is the case. But whatever is available,
I see.
we are working with what is available to make sure. And then sometimes we reach 100 people, sometimes we reach 10 people. But the work continues, and sometimes we just do things with the children to uplift the spirits, to give them that support, to give them that belief and that confidence to believe and dream like any other child wants to dream.
Shukran so much. So what are some of the campaigns that Islamic Relief is doing currently with regards to Palestine and Gaza? What other campaigns have you got running?
Well, with regards to Palestine and Gaza, it's an emergency appeal.
Okay.
So our needs is clean running water, our needs is food, our needs are medical supplies. Those are the three basic, major things that's required in those areas, in that area. And I mean, it can't be overemphasized to talk about that. And again, I remind myself, when I eat something, I have to think about the brothers and sisters in Gaza.
Absolutely.
Because there are times when they go days without having had something to eat. And you know, there's days when they go without water. And subhanAllah, it's really a challenge that they face. And we have to, as I say, this word gratitude is such a big word. And we have to show this gratitude, you know. And I speak about a Black Friday, today being known as Black Friday around the Western world. Everybody's running for that special. We have a special right now, and that special is to aid our brothers and sisters in Gaza. And those rewards will be multiplied more than a special for Black Friday, as an example.
Absolutely. I think that is a big message that we can share today. And it's not too late, you know, it's never too late to change your mind, change direction and you know, aiding the cause or any of the campaigns. Abdul Alim, is there any personal fundraising initiatives that you are doing for Islamic Relief and with regards to Palestine and their campaign?
Yeah, I think it's difficult always to talk about oneself. I think,
Yes.
you know, but there's something that I love doing. And it gives me an opportunity to appreciate nature. It gives me an opportunity to enjoy the freedom of space. It gives me the opportunity to clear my mind. And when I think about those three things, our brothers and sisters in Gaza don't have that. They don't have the freedom of space. They don't have any security around them, nothing like that. I enjoy running, to be more specific, and it gives me opportunity to think about things, and you know. And so I've decided to embark on a journey of 750 kilometers as of the 1st of November. And firstly, I'll ask everybody just to pray and make dua that Allah grants me the strength to carry this forward for the next, I think it's how many days now, 36, 37 days that still lies ahead. And the idea is to run 750 kilometers. It's synonymous with 75 years since 1948. It's also synonymous with the amount of people that were displaced in the first Nakba, 750,000 people. So there's a correlation to those numbers, and we're looking for sponsorship per kilometer.
Okay.
So the idea is that you sponsor me per kilometer, it's about 1,000 rand, but whatever is within the means and capacity of individuals. Say, I don't have 1,000 rand, I only have 200 rand, and you give the 200 rand, no problem. But if you have 2,000 rand, I'm also saying you give that 2,000 rand. If you have 1,000, give it. Don't think it's only 1,000 rand. Think about what is within my capacity to be able to give. And maybe if I cut down on a few things this month, I'll be able to give a little bit more.
Yes.
And you know, it's again, there's this word of sacrifice coming in. What are we prepared to sacrifice to help our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine? So it's not about Abdul Alim running 750 kilometers, please. It is really just about me doing something that I love. It will be, you know, it's a huge distance. I want to say that, but we are looking to raise as much funds from that as possible, inshallah.
We wish you all the best with that project, inshallah. For our viewers who wants to contribute, but they might be unsure of how to choose a reliable charity, what tips can you offer us, or what red flags can you advise our viewers or our parents to look out for?
Okay, firstly, I'm not going to give you the red flags. I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to tell you that you go where there's a history of the work that has been done. And I want to go back into our history first and foremost, is that next year, 2024, Islamic Relief will be on the global stage for 40 years. It's a milestone in itself, alhamdulillah. In South Africa, we've been here next year as well, 20 years. So we've been here for half of the time, we've been in South Africa as well. We've done the work, we've shown the credentials. So when you ask this, I say we don't mind answering the difficult questions because we will have the answers, and if we don't have the answer, we'll say to you, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, we'll find the answers. So I think for any viewer that's watching this, ask the right questions, ask the difficult questions, but don't let the answers deter you from giving. Because people ask the question and then they say, maybe I shouldn't give. Maybe the aid isn't getting into Gaza, Palestine. Maybe this is not. And we find excuses of why we mustn't give.
Absolutely.
Find the reasons to give.
Yes.
Find reasons to give. And the questions that you ask will give you the comfort and say, okay, within my heart, I know that this is the reason why I'm giving to Islamic Relief or any other organization for that matter. But really, it is about asking the right questions, seeing the work that's been done, going and looking at the testimonials. And if I'm going to use an example of Qurbani, and there's a sister that lives in Kenya, and she works every single day of the week as a single mother, and she goes to fetch water. She's got kids as teenagers and younger. So you can imagine the strife that this individual has. They don't have a car. They have to walk miles and kilometers to get water, and they struggle. And the only time, something that we take for granted as well, the only time they get a piece of red meat to eat is about one time. And she, in her words, says, I am so grateful to Islamic Relief for affording us and making this possible that we have something to eat on the days of Dhul Hijjah, that I'll be able to give my family and my children. So these are the kind of testimonials that we have to look at. Another thing is that when you look at Bosnia, many people don't even know about Bosnia. But Bosnia happened so many years ago, and people say, oh, everything is okay. Islamic Relief is still working on the ground in Bosnia. The cameras have left. Mainstream media have stopped reporting about Bosnia, but we're still working there. So again, it speaks to the credibility of the organization. We're not there for the cameras. We're not there for putting our name into highlights. We're there to do the work and serve humanity.
So my next question was about, do you have any personal stories of witnessing the impact of Islamic Relief on a community or that's changed someone's life? And I think what you've just told us about that example is one of those examples of where Islamic Relief has touched someone's life. So what does the future hold for Islamic Relief? Any upcoming events in the next couple of months?
The future for Islamic Relief is that inshallah Islamic Relief will be around even long after I'm not there or anybody else. It's not attached to any personal individual. It's not attached to anything but the goals of serving humanity. And I think we always believe at Islamic Relief is that we purify our intention before we embark on something. Because we do our best and to Allah we leave the rest. That's our motto. That is our motto. So what's up and coming is that, we have, in January, we have a family day in Dawn Mountain, which is out in Franschhoek. It's a nice setting, it's a beautiful setting, mashallah. And it's about bringing families together. It's about bringing your family and having a good time connecting with your family. But more importantly is that we want to send our love from Western Cape to the brothers and sisters in Gaza to show them our family cares about your family. Our family is connected to your family and we are one family.
Absolutely.
When I look at the children here at the school, mashallah, it's to send the love from one child to another child. From one parent to another parent, to say, we're not going through what you're going through, but we feel your pain. We are connected, and that connectivity for us is important. So there'll be many other campaigns and events that will come up. And perhaps I suggest to the viewers is to stay in contact, check our website, see what's going on, and we'll definitely be in contact with the school to inform you about any upcoming events. But for us, those are the important milestones that we have, and it's important that we stay connected. We're going into a season that's known as the silly season.
Yes.
When people start forgetting, we think, oh, ceasefire, forget about Palestine. Oh, we think, oh, it's December, forget about Palestine. We think about, oh, it is, we're going to the beach, let's forget about Palestine. Everything that we do, we must not forget about Palestine. Because that is what mainstream media wants us to do. That is what the rest of the world wants us to do. Our brothers and sisters have been suffering for decades in that area. It's not a new thing on the 7th of October. We must be very clear about that. So I'm saying to everybody is that let's be wise in this period of, when we have a period of relaxation, when the businesses close, when the schools close, let's have a period of reflection. Let's be moderate in how we spend our money. Let's be wise about the information that we share with our children. Very important thing as well is that education from the parents to the child is important. Having these discussions about what's happening in Palestine is vitally important, because you empower them, and you spoke about it in the beginning, is when you create a community of giving, a community that cares about those who are less fortunate, if I can call it that. And so when you speak to the children about this, they are the future, and you inform them, they become empowered to say we make informed decisions about where we give our money and how we give our money, inshallah. So for me, those are critical times, at this critical period of time, that we always remember our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine.
Absolutely. So, in your perspective, Abdul, why is donating to causes crucial for the globally, for every person? It doesn't matter whether they're Muslim or what religious background they're. Why is donating crucial for a community?
There are various reasons, and there are many ahadith that explain that. But first and foremost, I would say that Islamic belief, we serve humanity irrespective of race, color, religion, whatever. When people are suffering, Islamic belief will help. I think that's first and foremost. The second thing we must remember, we've got a massive orphans campaign, a project that runs globally. Currently in Gaza, for example, 8,500 orphans we are supporting in that area, and more than likely it will grow over this period of time. We don't know those numbers as yet. But why is it important to give? Because the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam reminded us that when we give, it keeps away calamity from ourselves. So we always want to have a good life. We don't want to be affected by calamity. And so for communities to give, it becomes important. For individuals to give, it becomes important. And also it's a mechanism whereby we invest not only in this world, but in the after. Because our Creator is such a giving Creator that He gives us sevenfold and more. And so what is it that we want? We want goodness for ourselves. And we are reminded that He is not a believer who does not love for his brother what he loves for himself. So here's an opportunity to show, I love you, I care about you, and I want to eat healthily, I want to eat a nice place of food, I want to have clean drinking water, I want to have medical assistance. Here's an opportunity to show us, to not show us, but show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I put my money where my mouth is.
Absolutely.
So it's one thing we say, yes, dua is important, praying is important for our brothers in Palestine, but it comes with action. It comes with action. So we pray, and the action we do is by giving. The action we do is by reminding one another about the cause. The action that we're doing is about bringing families together and talking about it and saying, as a collective, speaking about communities. And Vivid is a community, I'm sure, in its own. And this community here at the Vivid School, we speak about it, and as a Vivid community, you decide to give and you make a contribution. So the entire Vivid community benefits from this. So do people who are in running clubs, people who are in cycling clubs, hiking clubs, whatever club you're in, fishing, angling clubs as well, whatever club you're in, let's speak about it. You're on the run tomorrow, let's talk about it, and then decide how we're going to be giving. So giving becomes critically important, but it starts from grassroots level to have that feeling in your heart of giving. And I think that the school of Vivid in itself is setting a great example, and may Allah grant you guys many more years and may go from strength to strength.
Can you tell us a bit about the history of Islamic belief?
As I've mentioned in the beginning, that next year will be 40 years in existence, alhamdulillah. And the pioneer and the father of Islamic belief is Dr. Anil Banna, a medical doctor, Egyptian medical doctor, studied in the UK, and there was a crisis in Sudan. There was no water, and in the south, the east of Africa, and every other organization was doing something. And he said, why is it that we are not going to do something as Muslims? And then he went to Sudan. He went to see the situation in Sudan. And he came back and he went to Egypt, and they started Islamic Relief. And, there was a little boy of 12 years old that made the very first donation to Islamic Relief. Dropped it into the box. And that was the very first contribution that we got as Islamic Relief. But the idea was born out of the need in Africa, the need of a continent that we are part of, And right now, that part of the continent is still in need. We're looking at Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, all the Horn of Africa is in major need of assistance. So that need has continued, and Islamic Relief has never left. For 40 years, we've been there, we've had a presence there, and we're doing the work, and we'll continue to do the work. And when Dr. Hani started out, he drove the lengths and breadths of the UK with himself, maybe a friend or two that went along, and they spent Ramadan, they spent away from their families, and they went from mosque to community, mosque to collect money. The vehicle that they had broke down many times on the road. Somebody would come and assist them, but they never stopped. They never stopped because they knew the cause was far greater than what they were going through. And I think when we have that as a mindset, and we think about, I may have to give, and maybe the suffering that I have right now, maybe I want to have that extra money to spend on some other luxury items, but the cause that I'm giving to is far greater than my own personal need. And that is the selfless character of everybody in Islamic Relief, because we believe in saving of humanity, irrespective of who they are. And that as a basis of our organization is, Dr. Hani he's not part of Islamic Relief per se, but he does so much work with us, and he's still the pioneer, he's still the father of Islamic Relief. And it is just great to be able to ask and bounce the ideas of somebody who's founded an organization like this. Never in their wildest dreams did they think it would be this big. Over 45 countries, over so many people have been helped. 120 million people have been helped over those 40 years. And it continues. And it will continue, because the essence is, I'm reminded of the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, إِنَّمَا الْعَمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Every action is judged by its intention. So the intention was pure. So the actions contribute to the intention, and the way they started it up was a pure intention. And that's the reason why Islamic Relief is still around after 40 years.
What a beautiful story. I think that I don't know anybody that I know would have known that story of how Islamic Relief came onto the map. And I think it's important just to share that information as well. What a heartwarming story. MashaAllah. Wow. Now, in asking you all of these questions, I think what I get from you is that generosity is about what you can give in your means. It's not an unattainable goal of what you set for yourself when you are comfortable, when you are able to give. It's based on your income, and we all can give something within our means. And you know what? If you're not able to give, you can support in your time. You can support in making something, or standing at the store. We had a cake sale. Somebody can just man the store. They shared posts. We had online campaigns. Somebody just shared that they put it into community groups. You can contribute. It's not just about, I can't give 1,000, I can't give 2,000, so, that 50 rand is not going to help. Generosity is within your means, and I think that's something that people need to adjust their minds on. And I think the other point that I'd like to make is based on what you've said about your experience and your exposure in Gaza. I think that when I hear the stories, the war stories, and what our brothers and sisters are going through, for me, sitting on this side, and our parents and our viewers and our community, our brothers and sisters in Gaza, they are not being tested. They've already passed their test. And I can sit here and I can get really emotional, and my skin can grow, because at the end of the day, it's you and me that's being tested. It's you and me that needs to think about what are we doing to help them. They've already passed. And to sit here and think that, we have these influences, and, our true modern day influences is actually our brothers and sisters in Gaza. Like the immense faith and iman that they show in these, difficult times, to have that type of taqwa and iman, and to still have that faith and belief. It's impeccable, and my heart goes out to them. And I just feel like nothing I'm going to do, or, is going to be enough, and just to be conscientious about them in all your thoughts and your dealings in this festive season, the silly season. Like, let's not forget our brothers and sisters and what they are going through, even though there might be this temporary ceasefire. The struggle has been going on for years. And I think it's important that we keep that in mind, and that we try to think of them in all our actions, in all our activities that we'll be doing. You know, we look at our kids, and we see the children in Gaza, and we need to remember that. Abdullah, can you maybe share with us how best to donate to Islamic Relief with the campaigns? What's the best way?
Give us all your money. So that's a joke, right? You go onto our website, which is www.islamic-relief.org.za, and you'll be able to choose the various campaigns. And you'll be able to say, okay, maybe I want to give money to Gaza right now, and you click onto that and you can make an online donation. The other way, obviously the vehicle via Vivid is open to every single person. Or you come into our offices, which is in 396 Imam Harun Road, and you come into our offices, and then perhaps you want to ask us some questions as well, which we gratefully accept, and we'll also take your donation. But yeah, those are the various platforms that you can reach us, or you can give us a call on our phone numbers, which is 0800 111 898. And maybe even if sometimes people maybe not feeling well on the day, they feel they would like to have a community fundraiser, come and visit them and collect the funds from them, Bismillah, give us a call, and our community fundraiser will come out to you. You can pay by card or cash, or you can do an EFT, whatever it is. We work all the means possible, inshallah.
That's wonderful. You made it very easy for us to donate. There's so many options already. But I prefer the option of coming to the preparatory school so that we can have another session like this in the next few weeks, inshallah. It's at that stage now where we actually want to proceed with the handover of our combined efforts, the reason why you're actually here. But I want to take a moment to actually express my sincere gratitude and gratefulness and appreciation to our parents, to our viewers, to our community. Because honestly, sitting here would not be possible with each and every one of you. I'm just a vehicle to be here. Vivid is just a vehicle. This moment is about the community and what you have done and how you've come together to make this all possible. And it's a testament to our strength as a community. We take it for granted all the time, and we are saturated with examples, and everywhere we look, it's just reasons to divide our communities. And this is just a testament to how much unity there is in community, and how much strength there is in community, and how much shared values we all hold dear, near and dear. So I'm very proud to actually hand over this check. It's really because of all of you, and I can't say that enough. I'm just here. This is about Vivid giving over this check to Islamic Relief. So I also like to just share that this is not just a piece of paper. This is not just a piece of paper. This is a symbol of hope, compassion, love, community, and unity that's within reach. And I'm very excited to actually hand this over to Islamic Relief. There you go, Abdullah. We managed to raise 38,520 rand, and like you, Abdullah, we put every rand and cent there. We didn't want to round it off. That is the contribution. What we've done is we've had cake sales, we've had generous donations from our parents. We even made some free Palestine apparel. We sold caps, and it's really through that combined efforts that we're able to afford and put this together for Islamic Relief. And by no means is this the end. This is only the beginning. We want to empower our parents to make a difference. We are a community, and we believe in giving back. And we will not forget our brothers and sisters and the children in Gaza. This is only the beginning. We will be sharing all the information that Islamic Relief is doing on these campaigns, and we would like to see our parents on board. Shukran so much again, Islamic Relief, Abdul Alim, for allowing us this honor and this vehicle that you've given us as a community to be a part of something truly great, and to really have a look and a lens and actually seeing what's happening, in Gaza from your expertise and everything that you guys are exposed to. So shukran once again. We're truly humbled and grateful to be a part of this process.
If I may, the check weighs heavily, not because of the amount, but purely because it symbolizes the care of this particular institution and this community. And I pray and I make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates your status. He grants you everything that is good, and may this community go from strength to strength. And this is sent to, because it is a school, I would like to believe that this is sent to a school in Gaza, that for those children who are unable to attend school because their school year has been cancelled. And you know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, subhanallah, goosebumps, definitely, because this is a very humbling experience to receive something like this. But I want to say on behalf of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, we are humbled and we are honored to receive this on their behalf. And I think, and I'm sure I say that they send their love and their du'as and their salams, because that is exactly what they do when they receive something. The first thing that they do is they raise their hands and they thank Allah and they make dua for those who have made it possible. So we would never meet these people, we'd never see these people maybe, but they are making dua for us. For you and the school year at Vervet, and the parents and the children, everybody's in the dua, because they'll be receiving something that they need so much, whether it's a drink of water, whether it is food, or whether it is even a prosthetic limb for that matter. And we're looking forward to continuing this partnership with Vervet going forward, inshallah. And we would like to build on this. And I think the relationship really is more about education. It's about not only always about the money, but it is about making sure we're making a difference. And I want to echo something, and I want to say, remember that money that we've been given has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us as an amana and as a test. As you have mentioned, our brothers and sisters in Gaza have passed the test. The test is with us. How are we going to respond with what we've been asked of? The money that we have, the time that we have, and the verbal ability that we have to speak about it. Those are the tests that we have. And are we going to pass that with flying colours? Jazakallah khairan so much.
Shukran so much, Abdul Nareem. So I think from my side, again, shukran and thank you to the viewers who tuned in. We'd like to share this with all our parents, share it with your friends and family. A special thank you again, shukran to Abdul Nareem from Islamic Relief for joining us today. Just for our parents, we will be sending out more content with regards to parent tips and hacks going forward. We'll also be putting out more content with regards to medical information regarding kids, or any tips and advice on your common goals or any sort of medical issues with regards to kids. But again, shukran so much for coming to check us out and share this video. Again, Assalamu Alaikum. Have a good day. Salam.